Welcome to spectacular Moab, Utah. I'm Joshua Hanlon, and today I'll be telling you about our amazing trip off-roading with a Jeep around Moab. Now, when you come down to Moab in southern Utah, you've got a couple different options. You can take a vehicle and drive into Arches National Park and Canyons National Park and then just hike around a little bit. And that is a really great option if you want to take it a little bit easier, do some fun hikes and check out the national parks. We chose to do the slightly more adventurous off-road option, and that's renting a Jeep for 3 days in Moab and doing some of the amazing off-road trips around the area. Now, our guide throughout that whole time was this wonderful book by Charles Wells, and it takes you through all of the different Jeeping and off-road trails in the area. So they're marked easy, moderate, or difficult, and that really tells you what the trails are going to be like. I'll flip to one that we did here. This is the Onion Creek Fisher Towers Trail, and you can see this is the layout for all of the trails here. He's got in-depth mapping of all of the trails. He's got landmarks along there, photos. He tells you kind of how long the trail should take, an overview of what the trail is like, and he does this for every single trail in the area. So I'll just flip around. This is red, so this is one of the harder trails, Golden Spike. You can see some of these trails get very intense. We stuck to the easier trails on our trip. This was our first time coming out to Moab and doing any off-road Jeeping. So we stuck to the easier trails in this book. I would recommend that you do the same. Those were still super fun and very adventurous. Lots of rocky paths, some nice uphills, downhills, everything you could want from a Jeeping trail without feeling too dangerous. But definitely pick up this book. We'll have a link in the description to where you can get that on Amazon as well. Highly recommend that. As far as the national parks are concerned, Arches is the more famous one. That has the famous Delicate Arch, which I would definitely recommend you hike out to at sunset. That's what we did. Watch the sunset on Delicate Arch. It's really, really beautiful, a great experience. There's a few other arches. Landscape Arch was a super fun hike and a really impressive arch as well. So definitely take the time to go into Arches National Park. We really loved Canyonlands as well. That park is much less popular than Arches. It feels much more kind of off the beaten path, a little more like a wilderness in there. So you tend to be on your own a little bit more in Canyonlands. The paths aren't necessarily as well marked, and so you feel like you're being a little more adventurous when you go into Canyonlands. We really enjoyed that. The Needles area and just the spectacular views of the canyons. The cool thing about Canyonlands is there's a couple of different trails that take you into the park and then out of the park, Jeeping trails as well. So if you're doing the off-roading, whether it's Jeeping or maybe you have an ATV or one of the other kind of off-road vehicles that you can rent in Moab, definitely check that out as well. And like I mentioned, you can rent all of this stuff in Moab itself, whether it's a Jeep or whatever kind of ATV off-road vehicle you want. You can find lots of information online to check all of that out. But this whole area is just amazing. The red rock around here is incredible. There's the Colorado River that runs through here, so there's whitewater rafting and lots of river activities as well if that's what you're interested in. You can do mountain biking. We saw lots of mountain bikers all over the place. Anything that you want to do, there's even lots of free camping sites around the area. Basically, they have it out here in Moab. I would highly recommend coming out here, checking this area out, visiting the national parks, and hitting some of those off-road trails. It was super fun. Like I said, the easy trails, we had never even done anything like this before, and we handled it fine, so I think you should be able to as well. Definitely come out to Moab, have a great time. Try to avoid July and August when it's hottest. We're actually here in August right now, and it was upwards of 100 degrees for several days that we were here. We still took the roof off on our Jeep and had a really fun time, but it can definitely get super hot, especially when you're hiking some of these trails as well. So that's kind of an overview of our trip, and I hope you have a fun time if you can make it out here. Thanks for watching.